Massive day of racing out at the Vuelta España 2024, stage 13, up here at the Puerto de Ancares. A day for Canadian champion Mike Woods to pick up his third stage win in his career in the Vuelta España, adding to his Tour de France stage win last year. And a day for Primoz Roglic to gain nearly 2 minutes on his rival Ben O'Connor, who still remains the race leader, but now leads by only 1:21 over the Slovenian from Team Red Bull, Bora Hansgrohe, who was just super aggressive out there. And we'll get to that, but first, let's talk about how it all unfolded today. This stage, stage 13, the fourth day in a row where the riders had to climb over 3,000 meters in the day. 4 categorized climbs, mostly in Galicia, to finish up here in Castilla y León, just on the border. It was 3, 2, 2, and 1. Those are the categorized climbs, and the final 2 and 1 categorized climb came right in succession with the final kicker up here to Ancares at 7.5 kilometers to race. 24 riders went free, and we were watching the riders who were in the escape, and yes, it was Mike Woods who made the escape. A lot of help due to his teammate Riley Sheehan, the American. He made the escape with his teammate from Team Israel Premier Tech, Dylan Toons. Also in that move were 3 riders, 3 big riders from UAE, Team Emirates, Adam Yates, teammates. In that move was Jay Vine, also Marc Soler, the Spaniard, and the American Brandon McNulty. Also sprinter Caden Groves. And because Caden Groves made the move, and Wout van Aert was very attentive for the green points jersey, so he attacked and he made the move. So this group of 24, they steadily worked free to where they had enough of an advantage, where we knew the win would come from that group today, because their gap at one point was hovering around 15 minutes, heading upwards to 20 minutes. And then the cohesion fell apart. Wout van Aert attacked, followed by Mauro Schmid and Kampenarts. Those 3 riders had a good advantage. Then they were brought back. Several different attacks were happening. We were watching everything that was going on. Heading over the top of that second last climb, the descent, we saw this dangerous moment. The camera showed 2 UAE riders right there on the side of the road, one just barely missing a corner, but then we realized another rider was down off in the ditch, down the ravine. That was Brandon McNulty, the rider still up on the road who barely missed going over the guardrail. Well, that was Australian Jay Vine, and what a scary incident. I think Jay Vine lost control after seeing his American teammate go not over but under, sliding under the guardrail, we think, and downwards. The good thing was, after he climbed up, McNulty, with the help of the staff members, he was able to get back on his bike, believe it or not. I think they gave him a concussion check, bloody all over. We saw him when he was up there at the finish line, and he said, it's just scratches. He is as hard as nuts, but blood was all over his body, and he didn't look good. Let's hope for the best as he gets cleaned up, and hopefully will race again in stage 14 tomorrow. It was a big hit for UAE Team Emirates, who had those 3 players in there, and afterwards, well, it was gonna be up to Marc Soler. In that move with McNulty and Jay Vine, well, they made this elite group that also included Sam Ullman, Wout van Aert, Mauro Schmid, and yes, Mike Woods. We had a group of 6 there, and it would start to fall apart with Wout van Aert losing distance. Of course, there was a crash of Jay Vine and McNulty. Then it was just down to Schmid and Woods, with Omen losing distance as well, and Mike Woods would distance Schmid with 4 kilometers to go, using his experience of 2 stage wins already in his Palmares in the Vuelta España. Mike Woods in Israel Premier Tech had been trying so hard in this Vuelta to get a stage win, and sometimes, frankly, making a lot of mistakes in doing so, but today it wouldn't be the case, and Mike Woods would pull it off perfectly, reminiscent of the Puy de Dôme stage win last year. Well, today, solo, 4 kilometers to go in the national championship jersey, which made it all the more sweeter. Going up to the top, celebrating, getting his hands up in the air, showing the maple leaf on his jersey, and rolling right into the team staff, celebrating, hugging. Rightly so. Mike Woods rolling back there to the flash interviews. I got a chance to chat with him right away, and then bam, right out there to the finish line, because The GC group was coming in around 10 minutes back. McNulty, still holding off the GC group, would come over the finish line. Like I said, he mentioned it was only scratches. The GC group was getting super interesting because after Decathlon was working most of the day, Red Bull was starting to come up to the front. We saw the team of EF Education for Richard Carapaz, and also in the work there was Movistar working for Enric Mas, who many are pipping as a potential surprise winner of this Vuelta a España. Well, many at the start of stage 13, but everything would be thrown up in the air because all of a sudden Red Bull hit out hard because it was up there at the front. It was Vlasov setting in the wheel of Danny Martinez, who had the help of his other teammates. Danny Martinez let it up, and then 3-2-1, Vlasov heads off, and then he launches Primoz Roglic. Primoz, we reckon it was around 4 kilometers to go. The kilometers were on the screen because the stage winner was already determined up the road. Around 4 kilometers to go, Primoz is revving ahead. Sepp Kuss was on a mostly decent day there with Enric Mas from Movistar. Sepp Kuss, 2023 Vuelta winner, but eventually Sepp was distanced, Enric Mas was distanced, until finally it was a 3-time winner of the Vuelta a España. Primoz Roglic had that crash in the Tour de France, had a back fracture, and is here at the Vuelta a España fighting his way back and putting Ben O'Connor on the ropes. At the start of the day, I was giving Ben O'Connor around about 40-50% chance of winning this Vuelta a España. Super positive all the time, Ben O'Connor, but now it looks pretty grim for Ben O'Connor. Wout van Aert up at the top was asked to give his opinion, and he thinks, given how he's been losing time to this Primoz Roglic and his attacks, he doesn't think Ben O'Connor has a shot, doesn't think he's a favorite to win this Vuelta a España. We're going to see. That's what makes bicycling so great, with Saturday and Sunday stage yet to come, and still finally the third of the 3-chapter book that is the Vuelta a España. But Primoz Roglic today really hitting Ben O'Connor hard with a left, a right hook, and putting a minute 55 into his rival to gain that time to set up closer to Ben O'Connor in the GC. I chased Primoz Roglic down the hill and then back up the hill as he rode back up. I think he had anti-doping control and was talking to him. And Primoz Roglic, really, most days he's not very talkative, but today he was more talkative and he was giving answers, and you could tell he was super satisfied with his ride out there today. He had to drench his face with water between the answers to get the salt out of his eyes to continue answering. And he said it's always day by day. We'll see how it goes, but definitely he was sensing the moment today to put his rivals on the ropes, not just O'Connor, but also Enric Mas, the Spaniard, Ben O'Connor, the rider from Perth. He's always positive when we see him in there in the mix zone, always smiling. I love his vibe, always has so much time to share with us, both at the start and at the finish of the race. And as he said, well, it's a good day. I'm still in the red jersey today, but he wasn't satisfied with how he rode. I said, Ben, you managed it well today. You only lost a minute 55 in a day we probably thought was going to be suited to Primoz Roglic. He said, no, I didn't manage it well today. I didn't have it today. He was down on himself, but still mostly positive. And then off camera, I said, Ben, come on, man. You're still smiling. And he said, oh, man, I rode terrible out there today. So Ben O'Connor, pick yourself up and get back out there and fight. Saturday, which is kind of a strange day, said Ben O'Connor, we agree. And then Sunday, it's back to a super summit finish stage. But today, celebration in the Canadian National Championship jersey. Mike Wood's 3rd stage win so far in his career at the Vuelta a España, and doing Israel Premier Tech their first in the 2024 edition. And Primoz Roglic showing that he's driving, heading towards a possible 4th overall win in the Vuelta a España, putting Ben O'Connor firmly on the ropes in this 2024 edition of the Vuelta a España Stage 13.